Hey guys, thanks for tuning back into the channel, and today we are going to be continuing on with the 6-liter Resurrection. We're going to be taking away the spray paint and all that overspray gunk off of it, trying to make it back to the way it was beforehand. So let's get into the video. Well guys, we're back in the garage and we've got a little bit of work ahead of us. It's not too in-depth. I went online and I was researching a lot of ways to take paint overspray off of a painted vehicle, and I came across with a few options. Lots of great options out there. Some of them are mild to wild, and I guess you have to experiment and what you're feeling comfortable with. So I'll show you what I did. Part of the box already came out really good, and I had really good success rates. I think I'm going to keep that system going. There might be some pros, and there might be, obviously there's pros, but obviously there's going to be cons as well of how this is going to be affecting the paint. So again, before you go on, always test spot, always do some little bit of experiment and some research, and consult some other experts. By no means am I an expert. I did work into car detailing, but I don't have any extensive knowledge or any formal background education knowledge. This is all just experimental, all YouTube searching, and just doing the best research that you can. So anyways, I'm going to show you a little bit about what I did, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to use, and we're going to continue that process. So today's video is just going to be about removing all the overspray. I will be doing a higher video about the in-depth power polishing, really good detailing, clay barring. I want to protect the paint, give a coat of wax on it, and make sure all is well with the truck. So, but before we do that, this is the step one in preparing the body for that detail job. So let's jump around the truck. We'll do a little circle check. We'll show you the job that I have at hand, and we'll show you what I'm going to tackle it with, and we'll get right into it. Well guys, here's a little bit of a before. I didn't film this. This is just a little bit of my progress that I made off camera. Wanted to kind of do some experimenting, see how hard this was going to be, or see what damages were done under the paint after I was attempting to move the overspray. Got a couple pictures on here with my first attempt with the Chemical Guys butter wet wax. Went really well, and it did work. However, where it became very thick and very oversprayed, I noticed that the wet wax was having a hard time with the oils and the cleaners in that, trying to penetrate through it entirely. So it was going to be a very painful, long process. So I decided to kick it up the chemicals to remove it. So of course there's tons of videos online, and I didn't want to use anything too strong. I didn't want to kind of make it to be where I'm going to be damaging the paint. That's the last thing I want to do. So the easiest one was that I did try, and it actually worked well, but I'm not going to use that method just because I'm kind of hesitant on the really strong chemicals in it, was some brake clean. That melted the paint away. The second thing I used on a cloth, and that worked just as good, was diesel fuel. So I'm thinking I'm going to stick with the diesel fuel. Again, if you have any comments or questions, please put them down in the comment section. I do want to have a disclaimer that this here process that I'm using may not be suitable for every paint finish or for every type of vehicle. It just so happened that I don't see any ill effects at this point in time on my truck. I gave it a wash. I applied a coat on it, a paint or a coat of wax on it, and she's looking good, especially in these long. This is the area where I was hitting it the most with the brake clean. Above the wheel wells here, I did the regular butter wet wax and also turtle wax, the old-fashioned paste. Both were working, I would say almost equally. Maybe the butter wet wax had a little bit nicer cleaner to it, but you could use any type of wax, and that's what came very clean. So this is how I want the rest of the truck to go like. So I've got this part here, which is very stained. And I don't know how, I guess something ran on it and stained it with some fluids or diesel fluid or some sort of chemical. Hopefully there's no damage underneath there. It was the same type of look over there, and it came off well. So I'm hoping that that's going to continue the trend. As I go along the bottom, most of the paint is at that door seam crease here and then lower. So I don't really have to do the full door. It's just basically the quarter of the bottom of the door. And of course here I'm looking at the front fenders. Again, just that overspray on it. I'm going to use that diesel fluid. Thankfully nothing on the hood. And again, we're going here. Now this is the lightest side due to the fact that I think they were running out of spray paint. As you can see, it's not really coated all that thick. And so hopefully I can take off this camouflaging that I'm assuming that they were doing to try to hide the fact that if the police did have current pictures of my truck, that this wouldn't get the attention of an officer. However, every Ford 250, 350, their plate should be ran because they're most likely stolen. This is Alberta, and it's an epidemic with these trucks. During the forest fires, I had some acquaintances coming down from Yellowknife and staying in the same town that my truck got stolen, and there were 2 victims within a couple days of the stolen 6-liter. So that's something we got to kind of put some pressure on to the local authorities to say you got to do better, because this is an epidemic and you guys are failing miserably on your jobs of catching these criminals. But anyway, guys, let's go in. I'm going to show you this part here. All I'm going to do is attack it with the diesel fuel, wipe it down. Once the diesel fuel attacks everything, I'm going to immediately wash it with some just regular soapy water, and then I'm going to give it a coat of wax just to protect the paint. So I've got all in there to do, and this so I'm just doing it panel by panel. So I'll do this extended cab part, then I'm going to move to the bottom of the door, then I'm going to move to the fender, and then around. So I should have all this done today. So just a recap of what I'm using: some good old diesel fuel with some shop rags for the initial attack and removal of the paint. Then I'm going to go in here and use the butter wet wax to do any fine details. This is the soap I'm using. I know I shouldn't be using dish detergent or dishwashing soap on the truck, but this is only going to be the one and only time that I do it. And then of course I'll also use some turtle wax. Excellent. I'll be applying it with some new pads and then giving it another detail. Once all this is done, then of course I'm going to give it a nice, really good wash. I got to clay bar the hood and the roof. It's got like a lot of overspray on it. And then I'll be able to get the power polisher. I've got a powerful buffer. I'll spend a day giving it a really good detail, bringing it back to the shine. So far I'm happy. No major damage. Just a lot of elbow grease and some chemicals should fix this guy up to making it look probably 90% the way I bought it. And of course I got to replace the badges as well for the exterior. Other than that, I think I'm going to be pretty happy with it. So let's jump on this and make it back to be better than new. Well guys, we're in position. I got the shop rags. I got a drip tray down here that I'll be using just to collect the overspray. Of course I'm going to give the garage a bit of a washout, but this will collect it. It's going to be a bit of a messy job just due to the fact that I'll be washing it too with some water, just giving it a quick rinse. So this isn't clean by any stretch of the imagination, that's for sure. So we're going to attack it with some diesel fluid, and hopefully it cleans it up and it doesn't do any damage. So let's see what we got. This is just straight diesel fuel. I was putting some on a rag right now. I should wear gloves, but I don't have any at this point in time. So we're going to let that work in there. And I'm going to test this little spot here first and try to get it so it's off. Well guys, there we go. I just did it. Don't mind that part of the back bed's a little bit wet, but kind of used it. The diesel fuel does take some time to work in. You're going to go through a ton of rags. I had a little bit of brake clean left over, and she just, well, as soon as it hits, it just melts it away. So to save some time, and I don't see any damage, I mean, it's not perfect. I still have to kind of power polish it and buff it out, but I don't see any real lasting damage. Again, I use the same process over there, gave it a good wax, neutralized it with the soapy water there. There you go. And then took everything off. So now that she's dry, it looks a hell of a lot better now. Now I kind of have a pickup truck that's worth a little bit more to me than it was when it was all vandalized. But what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to just go to Canadian Tire here locally, grab 2 or 3 cans of brake clean, another can of rags. It seems to melt it. I'll go through a lot less rags, and I'll definitely go through a lot less diesel fuel, and it won't be as messy. So as I go along, I'm going to make sure there's no everlasting damage. Again, I can kind of see some, what would you got, fogging in the paint, but I'm going to hit that with the buffer and it should rejuvenate it. If not, I can live with it for now and deal with it down the road as long as it looks pretty decent. Not looking for a showroom vehicle. This is a truck. This is my dirt bike hauler. I do want to have fun with it, so you know, you're not going to preserve it forever. As long as it looks tidy, it looks about 70-80% perfect. That's all I'm after. Well guys, I'm back from Canadian Tire. I picked up 4 cans of brake clean. It's a certified brand. I'll kind of give you a little tour on what I got. So I picked up some new rags because those ones are basically done for. And then I picked up just the certified brake clean. I'm going to probably spray some brake clean on the rags and then hit the truck again. So again, it does a decent job on it. I haven't, like I said, I haven't waxed it yet or anything like that, but doesn't seem like it's affected it all too negatively. So again, once I finish the decommissioning of the spray, then I'm going to throw a quick wax on it, neutralize any chemicals that are in that, you know, spray, because it is very hard content, or high content of I guess degreaser and other chemicals in there that will affect the paint over time. So I guess I want to make sure that it's done properly. So I'm pretty pleased with the progress so far. Again, this is just to remove the paint. Once that's done, then I'm going to go in and give it a really good high-end detail with the polisher and wax. And I'll be doing a separate video on that. But anyway, guys, let's get to it. This now should go by turbocharged quick, and I'll be able to finish this truck, I would say, within the window of an hour. So we're going to get on her. Well guys, didn't really show you some of the progress that I was making. I did a little bit, but I had to stop because I hit a roadblock when I got to about maybe the front part of the lower door, definitely the full driver's side fender. My method of cleaning did not work very well. It was very tough. The brake clean I used, I had to go back to Canadian Tire. I was using non-chlorinide brake clean, so I had to go get one that was clarified, or chlorine, I think it is. I gotta look at the back. Anyway, I'm kind of lost the words on that one now. But anyway, guys, so what I did was I hit it with some of the degreaser. I hit it with some diesel fuel, and I was working, rubbing it out. I rubbed it so much, I'm surprised the genie didn't pop out of the hood because it was amazing how long it took. Just that fender took longer by a long shot, more than the rest of the truck. But anyway, guys, let's go take a look at what I've done. There is a little bit of work to do on the lower part of the door that I'm going to have to attack later. I have to get more chemicals, I'll have to get more degreaser, and obviously brake clean. But I'm also going to try a different method for the passenger side. If this worked as well as it did when the truck was being cleaned at the first part of the detail, the truck would have been done by now. It would have been inside. The video would have been up an hour ago. But because this wasn't easy on this part of it, I had to kind of like concentrate on it and give it all my best. So anyways, it's done. Let's go take a look. Sorry about the lighting. It is getting dark outside, so it's starting to go. But anyways, it is now all free for the most part of the overspray. Like I said, I just got a little bit down there. It's a little bit stubborn. There's a little bit of stone edge guarding there, so I think I can get it with some wax and some better buffers. But I'm gonna go do some more research. I'm gonna see what people are using to take some really heavy duty paint off. So when I did the back box, came out very easy. It melted off, brake clean, and the diesel fuel just took nothing to take it off. Same thing with the extended cab. As I showed you on the video, we had a little bit of a show and tell there. Very easy, came off really clean. Every bit of overspray is off. And then as soon as I got to that part, most of the door was going well. And then when I got to that part, everything kind of hit a brick wall along with the fenders. My speculation is that the heat of the engine baked it on a lot stronger than the rest of the vehicle that didn't get that heat. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, because it was the same chemical, same process. Half the truck melted. I'm assuming it was the same paint. It looked like the same paint to me. So those are the things that I'm speculating. It was just the time that it was sat on there and the heat of the engine just baked it on to make the job a lot worse. So I'm gonna have to think of something else for the other side, and to you know, make it so the job isn't labor intensive. If it is, well then I'm just gonna have to do little by little, panel by panel, and go from there. But anyways, there she is. She's coming back better than ever. Every day is a better day for it, so I'm very pleased about that. Once the whole truck is done, I'm gonna go give it a power polish, wax, sealant, and everything else. We'll be cleaning up the rusty frame. We'll be undercoating that. We'll be detailing the rims, cleaning them up as much as possible. I'm going to be keeping these, and then of course I'll be getting new tires shortly thereafter. So that's kind of what the plan is. So anyway, everybody, that concludes the video for today. Hopefully that if you had a stolen F350, you didn't have to go through what I did. The thieves wouldn't be so hard on it. But happy though, it does run good. That's the main thing. The heart of the motor is going to be the most expensive. Everything else is cosmetic and can be dealt with in time. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with. So things could be a lot worse. I'm thankful they're not. But anyway, guys, drop a comment down on what you would use if you have any suggestions, tips to take some of that overspray off. Again, been using diesel fluid and brake clean. For the most part worked. It just hit a brick wall when it was more caked on in the front. So I'm looking for any suggestions you have that could help me out a little bit. But anyway, guys, next video will be again part 2 on taking the spray paint off of it, the tagging spray paint, and then part 3 should be the interior, and then from there I'm going to give it the fine detail. So that'll be its final destination, and of course some of the other mods that I will go over with you guys of what they are. But anyway, guys, if you're new around here, hit like, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching Cordetti Motorsports. You stay loose for now. We'll catch you on the next episode.